Do you have a dirty little secret? Welcome to the club.
And you're all invited.
The first rule of the Dirty Little Secrets Club is tell everyone about the Dirty Little Secrets Club.
We're handing out memberships, free of charge.
Step up to the VIP line and let Dayna and Brimstone take you on a weekly ride of secrets and debauchery.
Now buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get heated on the Dirty Little Secrets Club.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Dirty Little Secrets Club. I'm Dayna Pereira.
And this is Brimstone. Woo, woo.
Woot woot, man, you in a dancing mood today, huh?
It's a New Year's show, baby. It's a New Year's show. I know we had the one, but this is, you know what I'm saying? This is the first one we're actually doing in the new year, right?
That it is our first actual recording of the year. It's the start of dry January for a lot of people. And you know what I did? I tried one of those non-alcoholic seltzer drinks.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Well, the one that I had, it was called Hi-Yo. I know, no free
Hey-o.
ads.
Hey-o. Was it good? Hey-o. All right.
Hey-o.
I had to
was,
do it.
It was really good. It was a
Okay.
delicious seltzer drink.
Well, fair enough. I don't like any of those seltzer drinks for the most part. I don't know why. I'm not crazy about them. But what do you call it? I guess I should try that. Maybe it's good. Or is it one of those California brands?
No, I don't think it's a California brand. It did, however, make me giggly as fuck.
Really?
Because they put like adaptogens and ashwagandha and a couple of other things in it. It's nothing like it doesn't make you high or anything. But all of a sudden, I'm like sitting there and I'm just talking, and I could not stop laughing. I was like, "Oh my god, what is in these things?"
First of all, can we just scroll back a second and hear those vocabulary words that you use that I have no idea what you said that came out of your mouth, but they were big words, and I said, wow, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And then let us scroll back forward, and after having that, is that when you were walking out where you had the blackout and we're doing that video? Because I can actually see that being the case if it was.
Oh god. Well, it wasn't actually it was after that video. If anybody was on my social media, my entire neighborhood lost power and it looked like the goddamn purge out there for a minute. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is your house set up for the purge? God forbid.
I mean, I like to think so. I just put my husband on the front lines and I hide in a closet. So
You can't tell them where you're actually hiding, Dayna.
they don't know what closet. I got a lot of closets in this house.
This is true. This is very true. It's very true. What do you call it? Yeah. So, do you want to tell everybody about President Snow or not yet?
Well, sad news update. Actually, it's not that sad. It's actually awesome for him, sad for me,
Yes.
that he's officially ready to be adopted. So I don't know. Maybe by the time this comes out, he will be adopted because he's 8 weeks old. He's 3.2 pounds. He's the cutest little ball of fluff I've ever seen in my life. And they asked me yesterday, is he ready to be adopted? And I had to be like, I have no reason to say no. Like, he's super ready to be adopted by his forever family, which means I have to let him go. But I'm very excited for him. Although it's breaking my heart. Like, I am going to be a mess when he goes.
Oh, well, that's the tough part. I mean, it's great because you're doing the right thing and a nice thing for the animals. But then you get attached to the animals.
Yeah.
You know, that's the tough part about fostering.
Yeah.
Is that you get attached to so years ago, eons ago, when I was a lot younger, obviously, and before I was really, I mean, I was not touring or anything at the time, but I was in music still. But I used to manage in the pet industry. I don't know if you ever knew that.
Yeah, you told me about that. You were in a pet store, yeah?
Yep, I did. I managed for a store called Petland Discounts, and I did district stuff for them, and I also worked for a company called Wow Bow Distributors, and I also did Fido's Invisible Fencing. So I was in the pet industry for quite some time. But the reason why I tell that story, and again, I was really young when this was going on. And when I was doing that, I got so attached to the animals that came into the store because you're taking care of the animals.
Yeah.
I had my parrots, I had my, you know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
had certain lizards, we didn't have dogs and cats, but we had all the others, you know what I mean? Everything
Yeah.
else. And the birds are even, they're almost, if not just as
Oh,
loving
I
and
would get attached
adorable.
to some birds
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So, sad story is the one location that I was at before I decided I was done at this place. What do you call it? I was away on vacation, and I had I had an African gray that I called Tombstone, and what do you call it? And I had a was it Malaysian? I believe it's a Malaysian cockatoo, which was what do you call it? Beautiful, beautiful, um, like it's like a pinkish color, and it's my
Uh-huh.
baby. I can't remember the name because it was not the name that I gave it.
Yeah.
But that one was at one store and Tombstone was at my store, and there was a bunch of bird thefts going on. And I was gone, and somebody came in and they walked out with the bird in one store and walked out with the other bird in another store.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and others, but they were the two that I was like in love with. I was actually gonna buy. I was gonna buy the cockatoo, and I was thinking about buying the African gray as well.
Oh
So
my
they were
goodness.
my babies. Like I spent a lot because it was at the store I was at prior to this one was the cockatoo, and then so it was heartbreaking because it's like
Aw.
you care for them, and just like you have President Snow, you have Canoodle, you had the pit bull prior to that,
Rocket.
Rocket. So
Mm,
you get so attached to these animals, and then obviously the one who can forget your the dog that you decided you're
Mildred.
keeping. You know what I mean? Exactly. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's you get so attached to the animals that it's difficult. So I respect the fact that you're able to do it, even though it's heartbreaking. You still do it, and you do what's right for the animals in general. So I tip my hat to you, my dear, and
Thank you.
it's
Well, I mean, the
fantastic.
good news is letting President Snow go means that I have room to welcome another dog that needs it. And there's so many of them that need it. So I'm like, yes, I'm letting one go, but I'm also going to end up welcoming another one in. And I do think it's a really good lesson, not only for myself, a lesson in loving and letting go, but my children as well.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they get to love these animals with their whole heart, and then they get to watch them thrive afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really cool for them to experience too.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. And what do you call it? So that is our PSA for the day. And
Yeah.
what do you call it now?
Happy New Year.
Back to our regularly scheduled debauchery. Speaking about where you said it was dry January, I'm actually drinking a slutty coffee right now.
How are you?
Oh, I have a slutty ass coffee right now. I poured in some, what do you call it? Some of my Bubba's. It's like a flavor, no free ads, but I mean they send me stuff for my
Yeah, yeah.
for my studio, so and they sent to me at home. I went to we were doing the like the barbecue competitions and everything, so got to know these people at like Brisket King and Rib King and so forth.
Uh-huh.
And so they sent me a whole bunch. I loved it so much. One of them tastes like s'mores. The other one
Ooh.
is like yeah. I'm gonna have to send you a bottle or bring it to you next time I see you. But what do you call it? Or have them send it. I don't know if you can get it out there. And then there's that one, and then there's a burnt sugar.
Ooh.
So I have, and I'm really low. It's like one of those the K cups, no free ads. Starbucks as this like maple like
Uh-huh.
flavor for like the special for the
Yeah.
time of the year.
And then you throw
And
some of that burnt sugar in there.
yes, and some
Ooh.
hazelnut creamer, and it is flipping wild. It is
It
so
sounds
good.
delicious.
Oh my god, it's so good. So I was really getting a hankering for it this morning. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do, and I don't drink often,
Yeah.
so for me to throw in a little bit and have a little bit of a dirty drink, it's not so bad. But it was really tasty. I got to get you a
Yeah,
couple
dirty
bottles.
drink for the Dirty Little Secrets Club. I like it. It pairs well.
So
Excellent pairing.
does this mean that I start the new year off with the first secret?
That's exactly what it means.
Because I know you introed, and that means that
That's
I get
how
to
we
read
do
the first
this.
one.
We take
And-
turns. We're
and
like
I see-
kindergartners.
and I see. Listen, you got to keep me in check. I've got the big ego here.
Yeah.
You got to slap me down a few pegs. I find this hilarious because of the first 4 words that are in here. I know you two, and then it continues to say like the poop stories. So let's just clarify this, fuckers. We
Not
don't
that we like them.
we don't like the poop stories. It's just, I mean, anyway.
Dirty Little Secrets Club. You're gonna get some poop stories. They track well with what our genre is.
They track well. Very nice. Very nice. Meanwhile, by the way, yesterday I forgot what was going on. But what do you call it? I said something about I forgot what it was, but Danielle turned around. She goes, "Well, I know you like all that poop stuff," and I'm like, "You need to stop listening to the show." I said, "You're done." I said, "You're done." No, I said that show is unhealthy for your ears.
She's cut off.
You're cut off. And she's like, "Well, then you can't do it anymore." I said, "No." I said that one thing has nothing to do with the other. She goes, I said, "Fine, listen to the damn show." No, but so this poop stuff is going a little too far, folks. Okay, it's going a little too far.
We have ended up with a brand here, haven't we?
Should we call it like the dirty poop secrets instead?
I know.
Maybe we should do another show.
A whole
Have it be mini
spin-off.
show. There you go. The poopinators. Anyway, so this dirty secret goes like this. I know you two like the poop stories, so here you go. I was dating a lady 15 years ago. Things are going well enough for me to stay the night with her. I got up to use her bathroom, and there was poop all over the seat and skidding down the toilet. Immediately told her I was falling ill and had to leave. Gross. Okay. One, I respect the fact that you didn't say, "All right, you nasty hoe. I got to go." I respect that. I mean, that's pretty freaking nasty, though. Like, why would anybody keep their stuff like that? You know
All
what I mean?
over the seat?
Did she not know what was going on? Like,
I mean, we have questions here. Does she have a roommate? Is her roommate a 3-year-old that isn't large enough to stand up off the toilet and instead dragged his butt across the seat?
hello?
Because that
Right.
is the only acceptable explanation in this scenario.
Getting the stains in the toilet if you had a big dump and you're not necessarily looking
It happens.
afterwards, it happens. Shit happens. But,
Shit happens.
that's where they got it from. Look at that. Oh, shit happens.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, being a nasty hoe and leaving that shit all over the place, honestly, like if that's how you keep your toilet, how do you keep your nether region?
Right.
You know what I'm
How is
saying?
your butt? Did you, I mean, I don't know if the sex was happening during this spend the night thing, but I assume so. Isn't that usually what happens when somebody decides to spend the night?
Apparently they do. We've been sitting and watching all the old you'll respect this, all the old Flavor of Love and Rock of Love with Brett Michaels and Flavor Flav, and the
Yeah.
crazy part is I know both of them. So it's and I know some of the contestants on both shows. So I think that it always makes me laugh,
Yeah.
watching it. In one of those episodes, one of the girls shits herself on the fucking stage. I think it was on the stage or something. She shits herself. You know what I mean? And just like lets it out of her pants or something. It's been a while since I've seen that one, but
She just like wiggled it out of her pants.
wiggled it out of her pants. I've seen so many videos like that too, like where they get them, they see the people doing it in like the stores and shit like that. But it's just like, how like, so if that's you, and then you're gonna go and like one of the girls had a fucking a coleslaw on her mouth, and then she's kissing Flav. And then Flav is going and kissing like 16 other girls.
No,
Which is nasty. It's nasty. I love you, Flav, but it's nasty. You know what I mean?
No. Those are contagious.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the whole, between the two, You know what I'm saying? Like some of those girls were some nasty, nasty girls and did some gross, gross things. And then they're gonna go and stay the night, you know what I mean, or a couple of
Yeah.
hours with one of them. And you know what I'm saying? It's like that's gross. It's gross. I
It's
don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't get the I mean, I would assume you look at your toilet seat, don't you? Like why if you just walk by, you see a skid mark chilling on the top of your toilet seat, aren't you like, "Oops, better clean that up real quick."
Right. Were you in a
Oof.
rush? Did you not realize? You know what I'm saying?
I have not once that I can recall in my adult life skidded my ass across the top of my toilet seat. Like,
Look, I mean, if it was a rough shit, you know what I mean? Maybe look, there's been times where it can get onto things, you know what I mean, whatever, but you clean it off.
yeah,
Like
yes, you clean it off.
that's it. I mean, if you didn't notice it, okay, that's one thing. But I've gotta imagine, and that's and you're in a married home. Look, if you shit on the toilet seat by mistake, or if Joe shit on the toilet seat by mistake, you know what I mean, or one of the kids, it's fucking gross. But you're not gonna be like, oh, you're a pig, you're disgusting. It's a mistake. It happened. All right, let's clean it off and just
Yeah, yeah.
move on. You know what I'm saying? Because look, we have kids. Kids do fucked up
Mm-hmm.
things.
They do.
Maybe she had it. Did she have a kid? That's another question. Did she have
Yeah.
a kid? Maybe the kid did it, and you have no idea.
That's what I said.
But what do you call it? So that's the part of those questions.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that if you're having company and you're entertaining somebody, wouldn't
Clean
you
your
be
seat.
right? Wouldn't you make sure that everything's kind of in order, especially in a place there? Everybody's going to go after the deeds are done because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Everybody usually goes and takes a leak afterwards, or, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
some people hop in the shower, you know what I
Hey,
mean?
you gotta hedge those UTIs before they happen, right? You gotta pee right after.
You know what I'm saying, though. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Gross.
anyway,
Ugh. Clean your
gross.
toilet seats.
Yeah, clean it, clean it, clean it. I was making sense, right? I did make sense.
Total
Okay.
sense. I am
Just making
on board
sure.
with you 100%.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was like it was coming. It was going. I thought it was coming out right.
It
was
was
up here, but when it was coming out, I wasn't sure if it was making
yours
sense.
came out smooth, no skid marks.
Thank you so much, you asshole. You're next. You're up next.
Okay. And this one says, I was seeing a woman a few years ago. I took her to a really nice steakhouse on our third or fourth date. She ordered her steak extremely rare. Like she only wanted it on the grill each side for a minute and then back on her plate. That cow was still mooing when she got it. It was so unattractive to watch her gnawing on a raw steak that I ended it the next day. I told her I just wasn't ready for a relationship, which was kind of true. I was not ready for a relationship with a woman that ate raw meat in a nice steakhouse.
Okay, now I'm gonna go on both sides of the fence on this.
Oh, I can't wait. I am very excited for this.
Okay, so first and foremost, I think that's absolutely fucking nasty. I hate the pink steak. I like my steak well done or medium well, more towards the well done, simply
Mhm.
because I that's just the way I like it. Now,
Uh-huh.
in the barbecue world, in the steak world, and so forth, that is a sin.
Yes.
And I am wrong for wanting it that way. But I'm a big guy, so most people don't say shit to me, and they just say yes, sir. You know? but I also can respect it done, underdone. Now, being as raw as that is, funny enough, it is. I don't believe you should eat it that way. I'm not condoning it, but there are people that do eat it that way, and technically you're getting more nutrients from it and so forth. I could never eat it like that, but there are people that do, and of course, like a minute on each side. You know what I mean? It's being cooked a little bit. You're cooking off whatever's on the outside. Like it's. I think it's gross,
Yeah.
but I can understand because I know people that eat it that way. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you could say the same thing about sushi. You know what I mean? Like All
Well,
right.
I mean,
Well,
you shave down the steak a little bit and you call it carpaccio, and people eat that raw all the time. And I
right,
love some carpaccio. Like,
right,
I am on board with it.
right.
Um, I like my steak. I typically order it medium. If I'm at a really nice place where I know they're going to do it right, like their chefs are always on board,
You'll say
then
rare.
I'll do medium rare.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, like a minute, like I don't want like my steak mooing at me, you know? Like I'm gonna
No.
need you to be a little bit more dead.
Yeah. No. You see what I'm saying though? Like with like I'm with you and I agree with you. Like, but I can't take a side here because I know there is the way that you're supposed to do it. There's the way that
I'm
you're
just
supposed to do it.
imagining her sticking a fork into a raw piece of meat and just
People eat it like that.
gnawing on it, because a person that eats raw meat like that doesn't use a knife in a nice steakhouse. No, she has picked that bitch up with a fork. She's got her club on her shoulder
I snorted.
and she's just gnawing on it.
But here's the thing. No, you know what? Because I got to tell you, at the steakhouse, they were probably fine with it. Did you know? And I'll tell you a quick story.
I don't know. A raw steak like that, I don't know if they're fine with that.
A minute on each side. When she's saying a minute on each side, that means a couple minutes on each side. He's exaggerating.
I have
I'm
to wonder
telling
how
you.
thick the steak is too,
Yeah.
because if it's a thin steak and you do a minute on each side, I would probably eat that steak.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
depends on how
Yes.
thick that steak is.
Yes. It was just probably pink or bloody in the middle, and he found that gross. And I get it. Now, I have my friends. You've heard of my friends Justin and Marlene.
Mhm.
So years ago, I don't know if you've ever heard of the steakhouse called Peter Luger's.
I have not.
Okay, so Peter Luger's is a famous steakhouse. It is here in New York. What do you call it, on the island? And but people know about it from all around the country and around the
Yeah.
world. So Peter Luger's is one of those tight ass restaurants. No free ads. But the story goes, they went into the restaurant and she wanted hers cooked well done. And she said, because she likes a hockey puck. She doesn't even eat steak anymore, but now she likes it like a hockey puck. Okay.
They were making fun of her in the kitchen so
They
hard.
refused. They refused. The chef came out, the cook came out and was like, no, we won't do that. We're not going to destroy a piece of meat like that. And she was like, if I'm paying for it, you're going to do it the way I want. And they're like, no, we won't. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
if they were at a fancy steakhouse and she ordered it the way she ordered it and they did it, that means that it is something that people will eat.
I have to wonder what his idea of
that's
fancy is,
normal.
though. Like,
Could be a Sizzler.
what is
Who
a
knows?
fancy steakhouse to you? Because if fancy's Outback, then
And Outback is frozen anyway.
yeah.
Well,
So I guess it's all subjective on what he considers a fancy steakhouse, where they actually were, how thick this steak was. Was she
Yeah.
just chewing on a raw piece of meat? I mean, you do you, girl, but he obviously was turned off by it and was like, I'm out. I can't do this. I can't take you
Yeah.
to nice restaurants and have you looking like a cave woman.
but is anybody really looking at your shit while you're eating it? You know
If
what I
I
mean?
saw a woman eating a raw steak, yes, I would have my phone out. I would be like, what is going on here? Like, yes, I absolutely would be looking at it.
But Day, you wouldn't be looking at her. You wouldn't be paying attention to what's on her plate unless something came out
Probably
that looked really
not.
fucking good. And you were like, wow. So, okay. So, like this past week, Danielle, Haley, and I went to see the new Willy Wonka movie, right?
Uh-huh.
Which was actually not bad. We'll talk about it.
Oh, good.
Another
Okay.
time. What do you call it? But beforehand, we went to a nice, Mexican meal at a place we go to, and what do you call it? We got this new thing. It was like that we haven't had before. It was like a plate to share. So it
Mhm.
was like it had like meats and this. So when they brought it out, it was this huge, amazingly.
It was a
huge-
spectacle. People
Yes.
were looking.
Yeah. So when people, are, wow, what's that? Oh, is it good? That I can understand if you were like,
It's like
wow,
sizzling
that looks
fajitas
good.
at Chili's, right? Everybody
Right.
looks to see the sizzling fajitas.
Right. Right. So like that I can see. But if somebody's just coming out with a regular plate with steak on it, You're not gonna know. You're not
No.
looking at their plate. Unless she's
Mm-mm.
like you said, a cave woman,
Yeah.
sticking it in with the fork and like, which
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that was
How do you
happening.
even chew that? That feels difficult to chew. Like raw meat is not the easiest to chew.
I don't know. I've never eaten it, but I gotta believe that if it's a good piece of steak and it's tender. No, there are people that eat it raw. Like I mean, one of the things that was we did at one of the Thai restaurants that I know, they invited us in. They said, "Come down, we want to," and they were just bringing us food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they just like it was like when you're here, when you come here, I will bring you there because you'll enjoy the experience.
Okay.
They just like brought like food plate after plate after plate, just brought us a whole bunch. And one of the things was steak tartare. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yum.
and
I love
it's
steak tartare.
it's raw. It's raw
Yeah, it
meat.
sure is. It's delicious.
So it's the same. It's the same flipping thing, Day. It's the same.
It's
thing.
just, but it is the same, but it's not. It's not a huge chunk of meat. It's cut up or it's shaved or it's cut tiny. It's not the same
Maybe
as sticking a fork into a huge fucking T-bone.
But maybe she did that. Maybe she was cutting it down. Maybe that or making it into smaller. You don't know. We weren't there, so we have questions.
We have questions.
If you want to give us more of a detailed description and then shoot it back to us, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
And if not, so be it. But I could go either way with this. I'm on your side where I think that it's gross, but I wouldn't have been like, all right, screw you, I can't date you anymore. Like,
Listen, all I'm saying is if she's getting down on a raw piece of meat like that, she's getting down on a raw piece of meat like that.
Wow. Spending too much time watching Flav stuff. Wow. I miss Flav. The last time I saw him, we were backstage at a Black Eyed Peas concert in LA, and I was in the back. I was with DMC and a couple other people, and what do you call it? Redman was back there, a bunch of other people, and Flav I hadn't seen literally in years because I grew up in Uniondale, New York. And there was this one place, I might have spoken to you about it before. It was a Friendlies. I don't know if you have Friendlies in California.
Yeah, I loved Friendlies whenever I was growing up.
So, well, yeah, you had them in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So, see, I got it right that time.
You did.
What do you call it? And what do you call it? So this one Friendlies I had worked at when I was a kid. I learned a lot about my work history here.
I know.
What do you call it? So
we know all your passwords now. They're like, what was your job?
Yeah, right? No, none of those are my password answers. Yeah. Don't worry. So I used to go there, but like it was in hip hop. It was like hip hop legends in that area. So all of Uniondale, Hempstead, Roosevelt, Freeport, all that whole area was, everybody from Leaders of the New School, with Busta and all my boys from there, and LL Cool J and Houdini, Salt and Pepper. You know what I mean? Public Enemy. So everybody used to come there. So I knew everybody. Even if they weren't from right over next to me, I knew them from there and, like grew up with them there. So before they were famous and then after they were famous. So what do you call it? So Flav, I hadn't seen in a long time. And what do you call it? He looks at me. He steps out from the stage because he was doing a thing out on stage. And he comes and looks at me. He goes, oh, and I'm like, yeah, it's me, motherfucker. And he goes, oh, he like jumped on me, gave me a big hug. He's, oh my God. He didn't have his phone. He was looking for his phone. He was like, he goes to his agent. He goes, you do not let me lose touch with this motherfucker ever again. Of course, we lost touch again. We haven't seen each other in a minute. But,
yeah.
But like we knew each other for quite some time. But anyway, thought that was a fun story to tell. Because I'm like, whoa, anyway.
All of your Flav.
All the Flav. So do you want me to read the next one? Should we move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So this next one says, I have a standing brunch every month with an old coworker turned friend. A few months ago, the alcohol got the best of us and we hooked up. Now I have a standing hookup every month. It's been fun, and my husband doesn't consider it cheating because she's a girl. He wants details every time I get home. Well, that took a twist. That took a twist that I wasn't really expecting. Oofa. Okay. I'm gonna let you handle this one first. I've got to let it simmer for a minute. Just let it simmer.
All
because
right,
I've got
you
to handle
simmer
this
on
one.
it.
I've got to handle this one delicately.
Okay, you let me know when you're at medium rare, and then you can talk. I mean, I guess if your husband is on board and he doesn't consider that cheating, my husband would consider that cheating. He's like, any sexual relation with any person that is not me, that I am not included in, then yeah, that's a no go for him.
Dog.
But if
Agreed.
your husband is saying that he likes it and to go for it, then congratulations. Good for you. Go for it. I'm excited for your standing hookup. Yeah, my husband would be like, that's a no-fly zone for him, for sure.
I thoroughly agree with that. I'm not going to yuck any yum. You know, like, you know,
I
I'm
am
a one.
curious about the first time though. Like did you come home and be like, honey, so I had a little bit too many White Claws. And
You said White Claws.
yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't think White Claws are a thing anymore, but
No, they are. But I mean, like, you got to drink a lot of White Claws, I think, to get swifty like that. But
honey, I had 17 White Claws and ended up hooking up with Stephanie. You know, like, and he was like, cool, do it again. Or like, I want to know the details of that.
Yeah, me too. So you know that girl you always thought was pretty that I'm friends with? Well, we traded some each other's lip gloss, and but it was
some cherry chapstick.
We shared it with our lips, and one didn't close to another,
and she ended up with cherry chapstick on her vagina, is all I'm saying.
And we did like this thing called scissoring, and wow, like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does one come about with that? I mean, good for you for the honesty, I guess, right? Like, sounds like she was straightforward.
And she didn't invite him for it. Shame on you.
Maybe he doesn't want to be involved. He's like, just tell me details. He's like, you go ahead. You go have fun. You come home. You tell me everything that happened.
I'm a one woman guy. I can't with all that. No.
Yeah.
No. You got to take it and you got to have concentration. What do you call it? That's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like and yeah, to me that's cheating nonetheless. I'm sorry. It's like, what if he came home and was like, so you know that guy Harry? Well, you know, the two of us were hanging around, and I kind of had a few too many drinks, and I kind of fell on his dick. I mean,
we went out for poker night, and then I poked him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Poked him in the front, poked him in the rear. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I kind of fell on his dick. I didn't know what happened, but it just happened.
Oopsie daisy.
Oops. Want me to tell you about it? Here we go. Like,
by the way, I'm going again next month.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. Lightsaber battles. Okay. I can't. You're up.
Okay. Our last one here says, when I was in high school, oh fuck, I forgot about this one. When I was in high school, when my writer was in high school, I used my period blood to write on the bathroom walls, "You're next." It caused a whole scene, and the school actually ended up having cops there. They never found out who did it. Luckily, they didn't have DNA testing back then, and I was smart enough to keep my mouth shut about the prank until I was well out of high school. I have no idea what possessed me to do it. Some angsty teenager shit right there.
Okay. So I'm gonna take it in a different direction.
Okay.
You just got to go with me.
Okay.
They're in the female's bathroom now. You shouldn't be, you know, doing that stuff with the walls, and technically you're not supposed to be, you know, like, I mean, that's unhealthy or whatever. All right, let's take that out of the equation.
Okay.
The fact is it's period blood, and you wrote "you're next" in a female bathroom. It's basically being like, you're getting your period next.
Everybody's getting their period.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny. gross, perhaps. I mean, look, is it as gross as the poop in the toilet thing? No. Different
Oh
kind of
no,
gross,
all that blood on
maybe?
the walls sounds pretty disgusting.
Okay, you're gonna tell me that you haven't had a heavy flow once, and like you
Heavy
have
flow
like,
every month.
thank you, and then
You're
you
welcome.
like, oops, you get some on your fingers. You go, oh, what am I gonna do with this? I could do the toilet paper. Oh, maybe I'll write it on the wall.
Not
know
a
what I'm saying?
single time. Not a single time.
You never had finger painting when you were a child. Shame on you, Dana. You
I have
absolutely
finger
did.
painted with finger paints. I have never finger painted with my own period blood. Not a single time.
I am so nasty.
Yeah.
I gotta stop. By the way, people, you do realize I say this stupid shit for the show, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually condone it. I say this
I'm
shit for
having
the
a
show.
memory, and I'm not sure if it's from the show or if it's from my high school days or if it's from a movie, but I am having a recollection of somebody having a nosebleed and like spraying it all over the walls.
We might have spoken about that at one point.
Yeah.
We might
It's
have
like a
had to-
vague memory. And I'm like, I don't know if it was on the show. We've done 135 episodes at this point, and I'm like, there's a
crap.
lot of shit that we've probably talked about.
I agree. There's a lot of shit.
The
And
memory
technically
not
shit.
too good.
Technically shit. We have
Lots
spoken
and
about
lots
shit.
of shit.
A whole ton of shit.
Whole
I
ton
don't
of
know
shit.
why. It's crazy. It's like the people want to send us some crazy shit and shit.
And shit.
Like shit, crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yes.
goodness. Like
So it's likely we've talked about period blood, nose blood. I'm sure that, but
we talking about butts?
we've talked a lot about butts
Okay.
for sure.
we have. Oy.
Yeah.
So listen, I can't be mad at this. I think it's funny. Gross, yes.
Listen, some
Absolutely
teenagers do some dumb ass shit that we think is hilarious at the time that later on in life we're like, damn, what was wrong with me?
Yeah, Dylan says the other day, he's like, in high school and knowing so and so and blah blah blah. Yeah, it got me out of a lot of shit. And I looked at him and go, oh, what shit did they get you out of?
What kind of shit?
What kind of shit? What are you talking about? I didn't say if it was good shit or bad shit. And Danielle's like, yeah, you don't usually have to get out of good shit.
Yeah. We're usually talking about that. We're bragging about it a little bit. The good shit we talk a lot about. The bad shit is what we hide from people.
And then we pop shit. You know what I mean? That's a different kind of shit altogether. You know what I mean?
Altogether.
Taking shit. We take shit. We pop shit. We give shit. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of shit given to me. You know what I mean? It's cool. This is a whole comedy skit right here.
Yeah.
I felt
SNL, where you at?
I feel very George Carlin all of a sudden. I don't know.
I love George Carlin.
Yeah,
he was my favorite.
He was really funny. He was really funny. Anyway, are you done with Ms. High School here?
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you grew up. I hope you're not still writing on your walls because now they do have DNA testing, although I'm not sure that they would spend the money on DNA testing for writing on the wall. There would have to be an actual body for that to be important.
This is true. But I am going to dub this one Bloody Mary. Yeah, I think that's apropos. Anyway, guys, listen, that's about all the time we have of the Dirty Little Secrets Club this week. We want to make sure you rate, review, subscribe. Keep on tuning in every single week. We will continue to bring this shit as we've discussed many times this episode. Day, would you like to let them know the one and only rule of the Dirty Little Secrets Club?
Yes, guys, the first rule of the Dirty Little Secrets Club is to tell everybody about the Dirty Little Secrets Club.
Again, we love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you again, God willing, next week.
Promised land. You think we want something from you? You got another thing coming.